Hi, I'm Tom. I'm a former TSP on the Tax Specialist Programme in HMRC. I currently work in HMRC Legal Group as a litigator.
Hi, I'm Michael. I also recently completed the Tax Specialist Programme. Started in 2021, straight out of university, and I'm now working in corporation tax in large business in Manchester. So how do you think the programme sets people up for leadership or specialist roles?
So I think the programme really helps in terms of giving you an in-depth knowledge into the tax system itself. So in my role, I specialise as a litigator working for HMRC Legal Group. So I have to go to tribunals, present cases in front of tribunal judges in a court setting. So I have to have a good comprehension of the tax system and a good comprehension of just wider tax knowledge as well. So I know when I joined the TSP, I didn't have a good comprehension of tax at all, practically none. So, by being on the programme, it's given me the capability to learn that, whether that be through on-the-job training, being with stakeholders, working tax cases, seeing how the legislation is implemented in a practical setting, or, on a kind of learning side of it as well. So, learning about the respective tax systems, whether that be income tax, corporation tax, or some of the obscure ones that we work with as well. So that real on-the-job training and development, I think is what really kind of helps me in my role in a specialist way.
Yeah, I'd agree. You sort of touched on there's like two sides to the course really. You've got the formal learning side, which I think gives you a really good sort of base level of understanding across all sort of areas of tax. And I think that provides a really good foundation for you to then build on if you want to specialise in certain areas. So for me, I work in large business corporation tax, so I've obviously specialised in corporation tax and built on that sort of foundation quite a lot. And then the other aspect is the work experience side of it, where you get to practically apply what you learn in the course, and you sort of slowly build that up as you sort of move through. And I think there's plenty of opportunity on that side of it to get that leadership experience. You might start with supporting in meetings and on pieces of work, but then ultimately, by the end of the course, you're leading on important pieces of work, you're leading on meetings, internal and external. You might take responsibility for certain areas of tax. So there's plenty of leadership experience that you can gain from the course, and I think that sets you up really well, technically and in terms of experience for the future.
So what opportunities opened up for you after finishing the programme?
So when I finished the course, I moved to large business corporation tax in Manchester, and that's given me lots of opportunities to work with some of the biggest companies in the UK and also in the world, with the goal obviously of making sure that they pay the right amount of tax at the right time and that we close that tax gap. So I think that's a really interesting, exciting opportunity, and we also get to work on sort of complex tax issues as well, around very niche, sort of interesting pieces of legislation. I've also had opportunities to specialise in certain areas. So for example, I'm one of the regional leads for what we call upstream, which is the idea that we prevent errors from occurring instead of sort of fixing them after the fact. I guess more generally, it's worth noting that the programme is quite highly valued internally. We've got lots of senior managers who've been through the TSP and know how valuable it is. So I think there's lots of opportunity for progression in the future as well.
Yeah, I agree. So one of the big things I do in Legal Group as a litigator is mentoring colleagues, whether that be helping colleagues, with their wider work or any litigation queries, using that expert knowledge that I've acquired on the TSP. Wider than that, I also act as a co-lead for inheritance tax in Legal Group, so acting as like a point of contact for inheritance tax matters. But wider than that, being a senior leader as a grade 7 in HMRC, I also get the opportunity to attend events at the Royal Courts of Justice, to see moot hearings, to be involved in the wider litigation process as well. So seeing how we're implementing new legislation, see how that works in a legal setting, and working with colleagues across HMRC to implement legislative changes that are being implemented by government, and having that brought into place by HMRC.
So what aspects of your role do you find the most rewarding?
I find most rewarding the impact I have on the work that I do. So being able to take a piece of work, liaise with colleagues, work with stakeholders and see the end result of that. So being able to have an active role and impact on the tax system and helping to improve public services as well.
Yeah, I agree on that point. I think obviously working in compliance, the main goal of our role really is to reduce that tax gap and make sure that people are paying the right amount of tax at the right time, and then knowing that that contributes towards funding public services, things like education and healthcare. I think that's a really rewarding part of the job. What's one thing you wish you'd known before starting the tax specialist programme?
Yes, so I knew when I was about to join the programme that it was going to be quite intensive. We are, future leaders of HMRC. The Grade 7 role is a very senior and intensive role. So, with that in mind, there was some nervousness from myself about when I was about to join the programme. We were both external candidates, so not having an awareness of HMRC as an organisation, its ways of working, as well as having to kind of get round the tax system that I've never really come across before, was all quite daunting. But I was quite pleasantly surprised to realise all of the support networks that we do have in place. Whether that be senior stakeholders that I think really take a active interest in your development, want to see you succeed, your managers who get to know you day in, day out, know your strengths and weaknesses and really push you and help you when needed. It could be tutors as well, but also just your colleagues as well, having a really good support network amongst your colleagues. So, that was something that really kind of helped me, and I think without those support networks, it may have been a different story. I, really valued them, and I think it's played a humongous part in getting to where I am today as a Grade 7.
Yeah, I'd agree, and I think especially it's good to know that you're not going to be alone. When you join the TSP, you're part of a very large national cohort all going through the same programme, but you've also got people within your region that are going through the same things that you're going through. I started in Manchester. I started the programme with 9 other people, there was 10 of us, and we ended up becoming quite a close-knit group. There was a good mix of backgrounds and experiences. Everyone had different strengths and weaknesses, so we ended up really helping each other get through the course and sort of get to grips with the systems and the learning. So I think the other thing that'd be good to know is the sort of variety of roles that are available when you do finish the course. As we've mentioned, I work in large business, in corporation tax, you work in legal, there's other roles like technical specialists, policy specialists, there's leadership roles and management roles. Whatever your strengths are, wherever your passions lie, then there's a role for you at the end of the course. So I think that's really good to know. It's not just sort of one set path for everybody. If you could give one piece of advice to anyone thinking of applying for the programme, what would it be? Yeah, I'd say the key thing to know really for anyone wanting to apply is that you don't need to have any tax technical knowledge coming into it. You're given all that on the course, you learn all that as you go through. It's more important to sort of be willing to learn and be willing to collaborate with other people, with your colleagues. And there are tough parts in the course. It can get quite tricky at times, but as long as you're sort of willing to work and happy to learn, then you'll get through it.
You can find out more about the Tax Specialist programme by following the link below to the Civil Service Careers site.